Gorilla Tag is one of the most popular games in VR, making it a very important indie game due to its unique movement and over 4 million players. So, Gorilla Tag is a very important video game, but what do popular video games get? An invitation to Smash Bros, of course, the ultimate video game about fighting as your favorite video game character. Would the Gorilla Tag monkey be able to sit on the throne of gaming? What is Smash Bros, or would he be dwarfed by the titans of gaming? Watch till the end to find out. So could the Gorilla Tag monkey make it into Smash Bros? I actually think it's possible. First, we have to look at if the Gorilla Tag monkey, who we'll call George for the rest of the video, would not be recognizable enough to be in the game. Gorilla was announced to have 4 million players about 2 months ago, and it has had a lot of growth since then considering Christmas time. So let's say it has 5 million players. The best-selling Fire Emblem game is Three Houses, which sold 2.7 million copies, making Gorilla Tag sell better than any Fire Emblem game. Many other characters aren't as popular as George, like Lucas, Little Mac, Ice Climbers, Pit, and Palutena, and quite a few more. So we now know that George not being famous enough isn't a problem, but what would his gimmick be, considering that most new players in Smash Bros. Have a gimmick? A few comes to mind for George's gimmick. When he's on his last stock, 100 or more damage, or last 25% in his stamina, he'll become a lava monkey. George being a lava monkey would boost his speed and strength by a big amount. 2. Every time you play a full match of Gorilla Tag, you get shiny rocks like in Gorilla Tag, and you can buy cosmetics that are from Gorilla Tag and also other hats that are exclusive to Smash Bros, like Pokeballs, a Mario hat, and a lot more. So now let's get into his game stats. His speed would be slightly faster than Diddy Kong, but slightly slower than Pikachu, considering that the whole point of Gorilla Tag is to be fast and run from the tagger. In lava form, George would be Banjo and Kazooie speed. His jump height would be the same as Sheik's, and when in lava form, he would jump higher than Falco, making George the highest jumper in the game. Jumping is very important in Gorilla Tag, so it would make sense that George has the highest jump. George would be a little shorter than Villager when on his body, but with George's arms fully spread down, he would be the height of Link, and George's weight would be the same as Villager's. Now that we know George's stats, let's move to the most important part, the moveset. George's basic attacks would consist mainly of punches with a 3-hit forward jab. His dash attack would be him leaping forward at a fast speed, crossing a big chunk of the stage. In lava form, that jump could cross all the way across big battlefield. His tilt would use a lot of the different cosmetics from Gorilla Tag, with his up tilt being him pushing the umbrella upwards, side tilt being him taking out the icicle or blossom stick, either could work, and jabbing it quickly forward, which would have a sweet spot and a sour spot. His down tilt would be George taking the fork and knife and pushing it to his sides near the floor, like as shown. George would use his turkey leg as his side smash, hitting forward like a baseball bat. George's up smash would be the seagull hat spawning on his head and biting upwards. And his down smash would be George punching downwards, making a small ripple effect on the floor that deals damage, and sending George a bit upwards as well. His neutral air would be him turning into the rock monkey for a split second while making a pose. This move would cause a little fire effect on the person attacked by it. His forward air would be the cookie jar spawning on his face, grabbing a few cookies, and yeeting them forward. His up air would be a punch that covers a lot of distance. His back air would be George throwing some shiny rocks back. If you get hit by them, you get a lingering effect. And finally, his down air would be George taking out the moderator stick and pushing downwards. It would be a spike that can kill really easily, like a moderator seeing a modder in-game. And when George holds X midair, a balloon will appear and make him fall slower, like Peach and Daisy's umbrella. So now let's move on to his grabs. George would have a really long grabbing range. He would grab the opponent with both hands and look at them with an angry face. Then George would give headbutts as holding jab. George's forward throw would be him screaming, "Does anyone want to play mini games?" and send them flying across the stage. His up throw would be George putting his opponent on the ejector you get to Cloud's map, causing a ton of damage and sending them high up. His down throw would be George placing them on the floor and summoning a bunch of tiny monkeys to jump on them over and over again. And his back throw would be throwing the opponent onto the ice ramp like the one in Mountains, and they would slide off of it and going flying up. And George's shield would be him jumping into the snow globe that shrinks you in Gorilla Tag and covering his eyes. Now let's get to the fun part, the special moves. Neutral Special tends to focus on the characters' main thing they do in their series, like Kirby inhales, Link's bow, and Bowser's fire. So it only makes sense if George's neutral special is tagging. George would lunge forward and slap his opponent, causing the opponent to be slowed down and catch on fire. The only problem with that move is it would be very slow, so similar to a Falcon Punch, where it's high risk, high reward. And this is how Kirby would look when swallowing George. Now our sad special would be a cosmetic toss, where George would throw a random cosmetic forward, and the damage would vary on the items. The down special would be the snow globe, whereas George places down the shrinking snow globe on the ground, and when George's opponents get close to it, small monkeys jump out and cling to the opponent, causing lingering damage like Olimar's Pikmin. Finally, for his up special, he would either make an upwards leap, sending him as high as DDDs without plunging back down, or he would go up the wind currents to get to Mountains as his recovery. I think either one would work. Finally, we have his final smashes. I got a few ideas. George lunges forward to the closest opponent. The screen goes white, and it shows the forest map from Gorilla Tag, and then a horde of 9 different monkeys, because there can only be 10 monkeys per lobby, come to beat up the opponent, causing 40 to 50 damage. 2. George puts on the cosmetic of a random Gorilla Tag modder, including the stick, and clicks report on the character. It shows the band screen from Gorilla Tag, and the character in front of it sad. The more evil a character is, the more damage and the longer band it is on the timeout board. Like Kirby, Luigi, and Pikachu would be said to be banned for a week and take about 30 damage, while characters like Ridley would be said to be banned forever and have insta-KO. 3. George would throw the opponent into the snow globe, which would cause them to shrink, and George would crush them. 4. George would summon thousands of minigames kids to scream at the opponent, causing around 60 to 70 damage. Now that we have George's moves, let's move to his aesthetics. His alternate colors would be the blackish gray as his default, white as his second, 3 would be light blue, 4 would be dark blue, 5 would be pink, 6 would be the ice monkey from the hunt mode, 7 would be paint monkey from Paint Brawl, and 8 would be a salmon-like color with red eyes to represent PBBV. And the cosmetic gimmick I talked about at the beginning would make you able to play with the same cosmetics as you do in Gorilla Tag. Like Megamind said, it's all about presentation! So George's intro would be him branching on trees in the background and jumping onto the stage to strike a pose. George's first taunt would be George spreading his arms out and making a monkey noise. The second taunt would be George shooting his slingshot straight forward. It would cause very minor damage like Luigi's taunt. And George's third taunt would make him take out an Oculus Quest 2 and look around for a second. After the taunt, the quest would fall off of him and just be left on stage for a second. And finally, George's victory animations. I have a few ideas for this. George celebrating in a pile of shiny rocks. 2, him striking a pose and running away into the trees. 3, him leaving the treehouse and looking into the distance. 4, him going down the ramp in Mountains map and landing the secret tunnel that a lot of people like doing into the slide. Now let's talk about the stage, music, and spirits. George's stage could be like the Minecraft one, where it changes every time, and it would represent each map. Like, there would be a forest, canyons, caves, mines, clouds, city, and mountains. But if they wanted it to be simple, they could just use the forest map with monkeys running in the background. Gorilla Tag doesn't have many songs, so I decided to use them all, except the canyons one, because no one likes that one. Now for the spirits. There's a lot, so be prepared. Electronic Ball, TTT Pig, Lava Monkey, Ice Monkey, Paint Monkey, J-Man Curly, VMT, Lemming VR, The Stick, The Admin Badge, Turkey Leg 1 and 2, The Turkey Squeaky, The Party Hat, The Banana Hat, PBBV, Echo, GA3VU, Tiptoe, Banshee, Cookie Jar, and those little elves that you can find around the map, those skeletons back in Halloween, and every mapping game. Lucy, Jeff, the Jeff Links, Stump, Tutorial, Snow Globe, and the Coconut Hat. We're finally done with the breakdown of George's moveset. I hope you guys enjoyed, and subscribing and joining the Discord would mean the world to me. Thank you for watching. See you later.